Great. Okay. 𝘰𝑦𝘓𝑚𝑎𝑠.
𝘰𝑰𝑓𝑚𝑎𝑠.
Good. Okay, so I'm going to start loosening out. Just mixing it to both feet, playing with the body, and just really release out the arms at the same time. We'll do the sides. You can do one foot, do both. The body traveling a little bit. So just like. A little bit front and back of the feet. Maybe slightly rotated the hips. Let the shoulders go with the hips. The hands up. Down back into the middle. Letting the toes settle to the ground. The heels right gently to the ground. Keep the knees released. Just feel it pulse through the body. Rise up to the head as you strike the heel down. And just start linking into the hands. Weight down, open the hands. Spread the fingertips out. Good. Settle in the heels. Keep that slight pulse through the body. And the hands. Good. You start to play with. We'll start with this one actually. You're going to go from the bottom all the way to the top. So you spread, 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 all the way until you reach the top. And then go all the way back down. Keeping the knees releasing. Keep the weight draining down all the time. As you reach up, again, let the weight sink down all the time. Good. So. And just a few out to the front, and just keeping the weight settled down. Good. Okay, good. Just link in the hands. We're rolling the wrists, one over the other. And the other way. Yeah, winding out the elbows. Change direction. Slowly the shoulders. Bring involve the elbows. Open up the chest. Then from each time. Take it forwards. Start to really release the body through this as well. So release the knees, little bit movement in the hips. Set. Good. Okay, so get to the head, keeping the body forwards, looking over the shoulder. Keep the elbows, grab the chest with it. And release out the arms, bring the hips into the motion. The knees are locked. Slowing it down. And back into the center. Now, circles with the hips. And change direction. The knees. Take a short step out, just roll in circles. And change your direction. Stretch them back a little bit. And then down, bring the heel up. And press it back. And one more time, coming down. Shift a little bit of weight into the hands here. Just play with two directions with the knee, bringing the knee down, forward, and pulling the knee up. So use the knee as the director, but think about really, this is working the foot. So you're taking a bit more pressure onto the toes here, and pulling the arch up long. A little bit of weight into the toes as you go down, pulling the knee up, pulling the arch up. Just play with those directions. One knee down, one knee up. Very good. Okay, just roll out the hips a little bit. So if you roll. Press the hands into the ground here. Shift a little bit of weight into them and then pull the knees out long. Lengthen down. Hands a little bit away from the feet. Great. And just slowly coming back. Hands onto the feet. Just draw them up into the legs. Coming back to standing. Just roll out the feet. A little bit one way. And the other way. Good. To the side. And change direction. Just foot, roll out the ankle. So keep the knee as it is, just roll the foot in this case. And the other way. And then take it into a little bit bigger. Circling the foot. And the other way. Just to the other side, just rotating the ankle. And change. And big circle. And change. Shake it out. Good. Push it into that. Like a lunge position. Just take a shoulder width apart with the feet, both toes pointing forwards. Back heel off the ground. Just gently start to open out the hip. Sink the weight down forwards. So let the knee not bend too far forward in this case, just sinking the weight down. Let's hold gentle. Stretch. Okay. Good to come back to the front this way. And just open out to the side. Coming back to the front. Sink down to the hips here, and then just release them out a little bit as much as you can. Good. Okay, coming back to one side. So you can go a little bit deeper with it. The leg go out straight if you can. Ooh. Yeah. Now just think about, we'll do two things. The first one is think about pulling the leg, the back leg forward, as if you're trying to bring it forward without doing it. That way. Hold that. And then what I want you to think about is pulling the leg up as if you want to pull it off the ground, but again, without doing it, just pulling it up from the back. So you're trying to pull it out of the ground. Hold that. And then just release it. Let the hips soften. Soften the hip. Okay. Slowly release it. Come back to the front again. And to the other side. The same thing, just sit into the position. And think about pulling the legs together or pulling the back leg forward. Easier to think. And then think about pulling the leg off the ground, trying to raise it off the ground. And then soften the hip, just let it release. Great. And then just come back to the front again. And just loosen them out one more time. And then just taking it one way or the other. Good. And then in this case, you're going to hold it, but think about pulling the hip back. So the hip's not going to go towards this far. It's going to go back this way. And then use the hands a little bit, just however you like. You can use them in the hands. You like, you can just reach them out. But pull the hip back so you're triangulating the hip away from the feet. Then release into the center and then pull to the other side. Good. Release it, bring the hands down into the ground, just lengthen out through the back of the legs. You just walk the feet together. Lengthen down the front. If you feel a lot of stress in the legs, just bend the knees a little bit more. Just start to press the palms into the ground, let the head release, the face relax, lengthen through the neck. So just keep in that position, just see if you can from here, bringing the heels up, bend the knees forward, just come into this position. Just go as far as you are comfortable with, and then press into the hands, pull the knees back. So you're going between a kind of forward fold and a kind of narrow squat using the hands. So use the hands as much as you need. Just bend the knees as far as you feel comfortable. So a few slowly in and out of the position. Great. Okay. Going to trace the hands up the legs. Just release the knees as you come up. Keep the spine curled. All the way up to the top. And then just take the feet a little bit wider. Just in this case, we're going to just do the breathing exercise. So just come up with it. And then you just want to drop slowly down the first one. Breathe out and just feel the weight drop through, let the chest basically relax into the legs. Release the arms as much as you can. Nice and slowly, just start to pull the body up. Pull the body up, pull the body up, pull the body up. And then we'll just start to bring the breath in. So big, nice, deep breath in. And then just going to release it down. Let the arms really dangle at the end of the spine. As you breathe in, come up. As you release it, drop down. Breathe in, come up. And release it to drop down. You just go at your own pace, your own rhythm, follow your own breath. Yeah, just a few more in that position. Good. Okay. And the next round as you're up, you're going to do this with the extension. So raising up, bend the knees, hinge the hips back in this case. So think the best thing to think about is just pulling the hips and the hands apart as you come down. So keeping that length from the hands to the hip. Let it reach out. And as you reach into the ground, let the upper spine release and curl. And again, as you want to breathe in, come up slowly through the center. Connect the hands and the hips, big deep stretch, and then hinge the hips, bring the hands down. Curl the spine at the bottom, breathe in and uncurl at the top. Just a couple more deep, long movements. Okay, good. So on the next one, as you come down, just hold that position down. So, all the way. Release the hands into the ground. Really release the neck, release the spine. And then just take the hands off, bring them just above the head, float them above the head, and just loosen out the spine a little bit. You can do side to side swaying, you can do up and down. You can do a little bit of rotation, be careful with it. And then release the hands back to the ground. A little bit of weight in them. Bend in the knees, pull the body up from the ground. All the way up. Great. Okay, I'm just going to do a little bit of spinal waves just from here. Roll the spine out. And roll the body. And if you feel the body wants to go in one direction, also just follow that as well. So just do it through the middle. You can do a little bit on one side. So, that's so good. Good. Okay, just make it a little bit smaller now, coming back into the center. Compact it. Okay, just doing a little bit of work for the arms up. work with the wrist and work with basically opening the hand out. So you want to basically open, press, and rotate through the forearm. Open, press, rotate through. All the way down the forearm. On the underside as well. Good, take to the other side. Good grip. Let the forearm really rotate through the grip. Good. Good. Okay, go back to the other side. Now, think about doing it with the whole body. So bring the hip into the motion. So as you do this motion with the hand, start to engage the body with the hips. Engage through the legs. Just play with different movements. The basic one in a sense is just a drop into it. But feel free to explore different positions. See anything where the arm's going to engage with the hip. And just take various parts of the arm as you do it. And apart from kind of working the forearm and waking this forearm up, try and feel that you're also, the feeling should be that you're really spiraling through the grip as you do it. So, that's it. Good. And then just taking it to the other side. Same thing, just engage the whole body through the spiral. Reaching out with the hand, sinking down with the feeling of the body down. Very good. Good. And the next one, you're just going to kind of mix in the sides and you basically switch the hand between. So just play with, the idea of this is, I do this with partner, but you basically roll out with the grip and then I re-find another grip with that hand. I roll the hand out and then I re-find a grip with this one. So you're kind of doing it to yourself. Better with a partner, but actually it's quite a good mobility work for the bodies you do it. So again, think about rolling through and then spiraling in, and you'll end up in a little bit of different grips if you do it. But yeah, think about using the whole body to do it. So you can obviously do it with the arm and do this way, but think about really rolling from the whole body to do it. And you can move the feet with this. You don't actually need to, but find there. That's it. That's it. That's it. Okay, and this one's a little bit of a trick. You've got to have a split personality with this one. You're going to take, as you take it, now what I want you to think about is dislocating, taking the elbow out of structure. So you think of a classic one, which is like 𝘱𝘰𝘀𝘀. It's about taking the elbow out of structure. Now, in order to get out of this, I can't fight against this and I can't fight against the elbow. So what I need to do is basically find the elbow back into structure and think about dropping the body down with the elbow. Now, as you've got the elbow back down, I've got it back, I can re-find a grip on the other side. So you can do that one, that's the classic one, like 𝘱𝘰𝘀𝘀. It's a really obvious one. The elbow's being taken out of the structure. I can't ground the upper body with it. So what I need to do is basically sink lower and spiral through the grip in that case. Yeah. But you can do anything basically with it. If you just think about taking the elbow out of structure, which is going to take the shoulder also with it. So I can't put any power into it and I can't get back into it. I've got two choices. I can just mobilize through it, or I can actually bring the body into it and soften through the shoulder. You do it that way. Yeah, but just kind of play with it. You can also think about crunching the elbow to the body as well. That's the same thing that's going to happen. I get kind of crunched in, and my shoulder structure is weak, so I need to somehow open and expand underneath it. So the basic practice in this is about regaining the control of the elbow, the function of the elbow. and you're generally doing it by dropping and spiraling. So if you think about 𝘰𝘰𝘠𝘪𝘏𝑥, that's a classic example where I'm losing control of the arm, and I need to basically drop the weight in and spiral the structure through the grip. Yeah, that's a bit of a tricky one. You've got to kind of fight yourself a little bit. Let's see. No. And so there's a funny thing happens with this also. If I fight, this happens this happens on your own, to yourself, but actually will happen with a partner as well. So it's kind of interesting thing. Because someone's got a strong grip, I fight it, they grip harder. The moment I start to release the grip, you also notice usually starts to soften. They start to think, oh, what's happening? So if you become like butter, the joints become like butter, like soft, and then I just melt into it. So the feeling in this is like melting. It's not like I'm gonna force this down. It's the feeling that this I can't go. So I need to kind of melt around that structure, or melt around that pressure. That way, and sink into it. And the moment I've got basically the elbow back down, I can start to bring the 𝘱𝘰𝘠𝘪𝘏𝑥 back into it, and that's when I can take the grip back. So this is best done with a partner, but it's a game you can do with yourself. Okie dokie. Good. Okay, take a bokken. We'll continue with. Okay, so we were looking at this kind of 𝘱𝘰𝘦𝘴 movements. We'll just start with the basic cut. So just working from the 𝘱𝑰𝑔𝑢𝑟𝑖, from the first 𝘱𝑰𝑔𝑢𝑟𝑖. So just come through and just release it through the first few. Then keep that heaviness, keep that openness in the shoulder. Nice long spine up, and then releasing it to the ground. Up and down. Really feel you're initiating the whole movement with the hip. Heavy lower body. See if you can really make the sword as light as possible. So. So nice. Right. And then just keep a kind of slow, deliberate pace, just to like sort of find the bottom of the cut. Yeah, settling into the cut. And especially from this movement, really feel that you draw up with the center of the body. So as much emphasis on the downward settling as the releasing back on the ground. Good. And then just start to add a light focus into it, not really heavy. The deal with the focus, if I'm heavy and I feel that the shoulders start to raise through it, just lower it down a little bit. So, or lower the power in the focus. So you want to just start with a kind of really soft focus in this case. We just go straight into the 𝘱𝘰𝘠𝘦. You can do that, but just notice as you do this, the key thing is that the shoulders aren't separating off the body. Separating off the body. Separating off the body. Try and really settle the shoulders down. That's it. That's it. So this is one, you can actually really only do this with a mirror. What I want to think, you can do this actually with the screen. If you can see yourself, this is like, or you've got a mirror somewhere. In this, I've got the TV here, so I use the screen just to use it, or you can use the screen here. But try and feel it, try and feel what happens at the tip of the sword as you do it. So I'll show you some examples of what happens with this, in this case. It dribbles down, it bounces back up. The other one is this, it goes off to the side. Go off to the side. So that all of those basically mean there's a kind of imbalance in the hands. The first two are about the hips. So I'm not really settled in the hips, the sword dribbles. I'm not really settled in the hips, the sword bounces me back. But the other two, in a way, like the hands aren't really balancing, they're drawing out. So they're kind of fighting each other as you do it. So use the screen if you can see yourself in it, if you can change the view on Zoom, or use some reflective stuff. You can only do this by watching it in a mirror. You can't do this by watching the tip, because if you watch the tip as you do this, it will automatically throw the hands out. So you can't do this by watching the tip. You need to have a mirror or something. If you don't have a mirror, you don't have anything, just feel it. That's the best way. Just feel what's happening in the body. But see if you can get to the point where you just settle the cut. Settle the cut. And the idea with this, if you do it in a mirror, you basically end up with the tip in that position, and it stays in that position. It doesn't kind of jump or jump or jump or jump, just hits into the ground. Yeah, give it a try. That's it. Nice. Yeah, good, nice. Yeah, good. Yeah, good. That's it. So the only really advice I can give for this is try and find the solution. The solution's actually not in the hands or in the sword. It's definitely not in the sword. So when I first went to Montreal and training this kind of stuff in the morning, like try and settle the cut, I always dribbled the cut. My cut was really dribbling all the time. So my cut did this. Dribble. And dribble. And I tried everything to try and fix it in the hands. Now what happens in the hands if I try and fix it, everything becomes stuck. Everything becomes stuck here. So actually the solution in this case is actually just settle more in the body. So you get that clarity in the cut by actually just reaching into the ground a little bit more. So the feeling the body needs to basically drain back down. So you've got the weight in the front, you've got the extension out, and I need to balance that with that down. So just think think about all the moves you do in Aikido or Taijutsu. Think about Tai no Henko. You think about Ikkyo. The hips basically always need to be grounded and settled. Now that settling needs to come as a primary thing, because if I'm settling after the handwork, I start to split away from myself, and that's where you get these kind of jittering through the system. So really calm the body down by settling down, but now really bring the focus into it as well. So match that kind of calm settling with a really strong focus at the front. But again, just watch for these kind of patterns happening with this kind of pattern, and try and get something that's a bit more settled, but also grounded and open. I should be able to just really move in that position as well. So the settling is not a kind of rigidity, it's actually a...
Mike.
Ella, thanks a lot. Yes, sir.
See you.
Boy. Good. Nice. Yeah, nice. So just kind of slowly increase the pressure, increase the extension, increase the focus in the cut. And just see if you can kind of hold it. And if you feel the shoulders pulling back, you feel that stuff coming back, just pull the power back a little bit. Kind of work your way into it. Yeah. Yeah, very nice. Okay. Yeah, good. Good. And then just take this practice a little bit further. You're going to go into the second suguru. So you're going up to the top and then you're sinking the weight in this way. The same thing, but the problem becomes bigger now, because as I'm moving, this is okay generally, and then as I'm moving, I get pulled out with it. Yeah, so the body's response is to either and try and grip into the sword or try and pull out of it this way. So the feeling with this is like fully committing into this forward set, but going into the ground as you do it. So again, the down direction is the primary, sinking the weight down, but keep that extension strong now. So coming back and release it. And release it. Give it a try. So the same problem, just a little bit bigger. That's nice. Goodness. Nice. Okay. It's one of the problems with this form is the reaching the back as you go into the cut. So just watch for this. In this case, really watch for this happening. I get to the top, I'm in this kind of position, and I pull the body back to find the back with it. So as you do this, just think about as you come through from this position, think about releasing down into the foot and dropping the weight here. And then here. So again, it's about that kind of weight underneath, but you'll notice in that transition, I don't want the body to pull back and up. I want, if you think about this, the body's in this position. The finding the back is a good thing. It's going to open the shoulders. The problem is it starts to pull the back up if the shoulders aren't really relaxed. So think about from this position, just dropping the hip in this way. Okay, so in this case, just slightly change the form. It's like this. Just from the top, find that strong position, and then think about dropping the hip in to the movement. Okay. So you go back, reach to the top position, and then think about releasing down and forwards with the back hip. So take that kind of release the shot with the shoulder or finding the spine out of the movement. Okay, just change the movement slightly. It just means you can go into the problem a little bit deeper. So you basically do this in two directions. So the first one, just find the top, release the hip into the movement, and then here just rotate to the back, rotate to the left into the position, drop the hip in. So you're just taking that back step out, so you're just adding in the rotation to the top. Now really feel what you don't happen is this. So think that the hips are in this position and then they drain down into the cut. And they drain down into the cut. So release to the back each time. Okay. Yeah. So. Okay, so just think about this 𝘗𝑰, because if it's the difference between like centimeters in this case, in a posture which is in a way really asymmetrical and really off balance in a set, or very easy to be off balance in this kind of movement. Swords at the top, in an angle, and I've got this asymmetrical grip with the body. So just notice the difference between if I get into this, I'm in this kind of position, I'm kind of stretched forward, or I'm maybe in this kind of position, I'm kind of pulling back from this position, and really think that the key with this movement, or the ability to just use the hip to initiate the cut, is that the sword's actually balanced in the back of the body. So I feel that the sword's actually connecting to the back. But if I'm in this position, the sword's not really connected. There's a barrier between the arms and the sword. So think of the shoulders in this case like the gateway for the arms. And I basically need them to be really settled into the body this way. But if they're in these positions, not impossible to initiate from the hip from these if you're really connected. But the easy way is to really find this kind of middle position here. So you want to feel this kind of position. This kind of position is really different. This position is really off balance. This position's in the middle, somewhere in the middle. And then from there initiate from the hip. So just play with the 𝘗𝑰 a little bit. It tends to go like, it really goes like over the top of the head, because the sword's right over the head and I can't really see what's happening. And I tend to like skip over it. And then I use the open of the shoulder to kind of skip around the problem, but just take a moment, that top 𝘗𝑰 position. Yeah.
Michael?
Yeah, sure.
In this top position, if you relax your hands, the bokken on your right hand is basically in the same grip as you would have it when you finish the strike. So you feel the bokken on...
Let's see.
So that you're underneath the bokken.
Right.
This, because this allows me to basically feel where the bokken is.
Yeah.
I don't put any pressure on it because my fingers are loose.
Yes.
From this point, I can just...
Yeah. Right. Exactly, yeah. So actually, watch the hand also as you do it. So if I am disconnected if I'm disconnected in a kind of strange position like something like this, if I am to pull to the back, look how far the hand needs to travel to get to the back. Yeah, this way. If I'm in more or less the right position, let's say I'm in the right position, there. Now the hand basically just needs to release the grip, and I'm on the back. I can touch the back with it. I don't need to like drag the arm back. But that means what you say is that I'm in that position with the hand. So I'm in that kind of full. It's really, again, it's a 𝘱𝘰𝘦𝘴𝘩𝘓 movement. So it's really like a full movement here, rather than like I'm in this position. It's like rolled underneath it. It's the same way we do 𝘱𝘰𝘦𝘴𝘩𝘦, like that and then that. I initiate the 𝘱𝘰𝘦𝘴𝘩 from the core, basically. But yeah, that position.
And what I also notice when your grip is on the if I do this exercise with my hands on the side of the 𝘱𝘰𝘦, this,
Right.
for instance, the exercise doesn't work because I'm forcing something in this direction,
Right.
which completely loses because it's just turning around my thumb instead of turning around my complete contact.
So this is where you'll notice, like, I mean, spending a lot of time on the grip, but like these millimeter changes in the grip. Like if I get further down the body or the connection point, the smaller the change, the bigger the difference. So that small change, a millimeter on the grip here, is going to change everything. That's all the way up the connection point. So that's where the grip, in a way, needs to be really like, and really like precise in that way. But yeah, if you say I'm like on the side of the sword, and I try and do that, it's not really possible because the elbows need to do a lot of like heavy lifting to do it. And I don't want them to do a lot of heavy lift. I want them to just be able to drop and raise the sword. But and the same if I'm over the top of it, if I roll the grip over, you get all these weird positions. So yeah, slight change in the handwork is going to really cause a big effect down the line.
It has a
You got mute, Brandon.
It has a huge effect on your whole posture if you just change the grip on the 𝘱𝘰𝘦𝘴 and if you exaggerate it from the top position to overextend it or to the side, your neck muscles and your shoulders will tense up to make any movement possible, or at least that is the feeling that I get with training with the 𝘱𝘰𝘦𝘴 and dealing with this. But if you try to be as relaxed as possible, your hand can only be in that particular position.
Yes.
Because otherwise you're tensing up your body.
Yeah. And this is why it's useful to do either the movements like really slow or do them with a heavy 𝘱𝘰𝘦𝘴. Or even with a light 𝘱𝘰𝘦 doing it slowly. It doesn't really matter, but that idea of like I'm going to align to the function of the elbow and the shoulder and the wrist for that particular movement. I can get there really by going slow, but if I go fast with power, forget about it, because I just I spent 20 years, bam, 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 bam. I've gone nowhere. I've gone worse, and I've destroyed my body. Great. So going slow is really the key, actually. When we all want to go fast, I love going fast, but going slow is really the key. Let's see, we take this somewhere. Last couple of minutes. Okay, just take it to this. This is a nice position for this. Come back to the second 𝘰𝘪𝑖. So you're coming up to the top position. Take this now into a 𝘱𝘰𝘦𝘴. So you're going to open the cutout a little bit more into a 𝘱𝘰𝘦𝘴. And we're going into this position to the top. Really, again, a good position for the shoulders, or to test the connection with the shoulders. These positions, really non-functional. This position pulling out. Really think that you settle and sink back into the shoulder. And then here, the key with the connection work here is that I can translate that hip work again into the shoulders. So again, the best way to think about this, you're going to come back. You're going to initiate the cut. You're going to roll, rotate, and you're going to initiate the cut that way. And just take the focus as much as you can kind of feel that I'm in control of it. Now, the key with this as you do it, just think of the shoulders always open. So again, the shoulders being like a gateway for the arms, and that means that the body can really settle down as you go through the movement. So just kind of keep a reminder as you go in, shoulders open, shoulders open, shoulders open, shoulders open, shoulders open. And the moment you feel tension in them, especially in the front of the shoulder, rolling up or pulling up, just allow yourself to settle into position, a little bit more release. But again, the key with this is the ability to take the hip weight directly into the hand and the sword. So, yeah. Okay, last 30 seconds. We'll come back to this tomorrow as well. Like we'll do with the 𝘰𝘦𝘦𝘴 as well. We'll do that tomorrow as well. Just play with this. You're going to just open the shoulders up. Think about doing a really soft 𝘱𝘰𝘠𝘦𝘴. So it's just this motion, releasing through. Now, again, the key with this, really feel that the shoulders can soften. So just the last 30 seconds or so, soften really through the shoulders. Don't really focus the grip. Don't focus on the grip so much. Really just soften in the shoulders. And again, the key is feel that every movement of the hip is going to trace a line into the sword. So it should really feel that the hips release the tip of the weapon and drop it down. Shoulders stay open, especially in the front of the shoulder. So you want this whole area to be like really, really open gateway. So. One of the best ways to practice this is with a really heavy 𝘱𝘭𝘢𝘵𝘠𝘠 bokken in a deep horse stance and doing this. And the slower the better, but it's basically I'm heavy in the training with this is always the same, like heavy in the lower body, like substantial in the core, and the arms can be free. Especially here, the shoulders need to be the gateway for the arms to be free and to be flexible. There we go.
This really resembles these Indian clubs or these
yes, right.
hammer sledge or
right.
axe swings or whatever.
Yeah. Axe swing,
object that you want to use.
But all those like farming implements, functional like axes, clubs, maces, all that kind of stuff. Like if they know how to use the body functionally because they're doing it all day, and they can't do it. It's non-functional because you can't do it tomorrow if you do that. The farmers are a great example. Usually, farming implements, all those tools are great. So, yeah.
And then they got a GCP, and then they lose all that.
Yeah, now they've got heavy machinery.
The movement is only this.
They sit down all day at the tractor. So. Yeah. Okay. Okay, the last 20 seconds. Just you're going to do like 10 seconds each side. So you do like 10, 5, 0. And do the other side. Slowly up. Slowly down. And just 2 more each side. Slowly up. Slowly down. Slow up. Slow down. Yeah. Okay, great, very good. So slow down is actually the best advice for all of these. Do the 𝘱𝑒𝑠𝑢𝑏uru, do them slowly, and do them with a feeling where I'm actually connecting the body in. And again, those functions of the elbow, shoulder, how it fits into the sword rope, that's really the key. So, okay, very good. Let's go out. Great. Domo arigato.
Domo arigato.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well,